Hello everyone. So in this session we will start the linear workflow inside Arnold with the help of Maya 2018. So as you can see, we are in Arnold tab right now. So it will be installed by default when you install your Maya 2018. So now what I will do, I have this interior which I have made and I have some simple shaders, and what I have done, I have put it the color into the shaders only. So I am not using any type of textures here. As you can see, we are not using any kind of texture. I have one small camera setup also here. So as you can see, I'm going to panel, perspective and render camera. So you can see this is our particular view. So instead of having bookmark, I will go to the camera. You can also use bookmarks, so if you need it, and here you have the film gate. So if you click, you can find this part which not been renderable. If you want to render, you have to zoom out or you have to fix the position of the camera. So right now I don't need it. So if you want to open it, film gate, that would be fine for you. Okay, now instead of moving here, what I will do, I will go to the another view, which is this particular. I will press space and right mouse button and go to perspective. Okay, so now I have two views. So I make some amount of space here so that we will just focus only this two view, because the front and the side we don't require, as you have front and the side. So right now okay, one more thing, we have just formed this one, so we don't need it, delete. So now as you can see, this is a small interior, and one more thing we have to do. Okay, so one more thing we have to do, as you can see, this part, the bed part, if I do F, that means focusing, it's get reverse. So what I will do, I will go to mesh display, and here you have the reverse. So I will reverse the same. Now problem has been shut outed. Okay, so this thing will not be reversed because I have just put it that texture only. Okay, so now what I will do, I will just set some lights over here so that we will work in this particular view. So I will just maximize this particular one, and after that we'll go to layer editor, and what I will do, I will put all the things in a separate layer. So I will making a new layer. This would be fine. Right click, add selected. Now you can see that we have separate layers. So I have made this reference so you can't select. Okay, so our camera is also in this particular layer. So accidentally you can select. If you click over here, you can select. Okay, so I'm making it reference, and I will delete this layer because we don't require it. Now what's next, we have this layer which is the interior. So I will double click interior, I will rename this and save. Oh, we have to put the full name. Okay, now let's start to work in the Arnold tab. So we can use the rendering lights also, which is by default present in Maya. If you are working in the low version of Maya like 2017, 16, 15 or 14, you have all those lights. But if you want to work with Arnold, you have to switch your render settings. Here you have, so we have to switch it to Arnold, so that whatever you wanna lighting from whatever you wanna light from the rendering, you can also work in the Arnold. So that means this light can work in the Arnold's, and obviously yes, the Arnold light will also work with the same, because we are using the Arnold renderer engine. And okay, so for testing purpose, make sure that your camera diffuse, specular, transmission, surface scatter, volume indirect will be always low. Okay, if you are working in the ray depth, that means the ray depth file, okay, this would not be in effect so much. Okay, if you want to just lower the value, you can, but I think it should be there because it will not affect so much. But yeah, definitely it will gonna work. It will affect your PC and also your RAM. So it basically depends on your RAM and also the graphic processor unit. So I will just rename this one so that we have the test value, and after we are satisfied with our result, then I will increase this value. Okay, so camera A, basically when you adding some lights, it will just fall off all the lights. Okay, that means it will create some smooth result on your scene. So diffuse will produce some amount of, you can say, contrasting colors. So and specular, this is always work in the you can say reflection or refraction. Transmission value, it will transmit the light through photon energy, subsurface scattering, and volume indirect. So I will put all them the value of 1. Okay, I will just cut this. And one more thing, we will go to the common tab, and we are using the, you can say, if you go down you have image size. So right now I'm not using high definition, which is HD. I am using 640 480. This would be fine. Okay, no problem. And one more thing, image format EXR is a high quality image, so you can work for the EXR. JPG would be low quality, and PNG always, so you can work in EXR, TIFF or PNG. If you are comfortable with JPG, okay, no problem. So I'm putting it EXR by default, it's here. Okay, now what happens, already I have just referenced this particular layer and put it all the objects and the camera in this particular layer. So right now I have a camera and the interior. So let's continue for lighting. Okay, now what happened next? So what I will do, I will put some amount of area light. Now I'm working in the area light, so let's start. So I will make this night light. So what happens now, I will just press 5 button. As you can see, we are not in lighting mode. If you press 7 button, then we will go to lighting mode. As the lighting is not present and any of the light is not present inside your scene, that's why it's showing in black color. So I will go to 5 again, and here we have the area light. I will click over here. Now you form the area light, which is forming here. And okay, now move the area light here a little bit. As you can see, if I just press F button, you will find this light which is pointing here. So the light will cast from here. That means this particular arrow will be somehow, you can say, here. Okay, I will just put it somehow here. So click and just move it. Now what I will do, I will just put it at the center and will increase the size, and also this one. Okay, so that no corners will be left. Let's have a look. If I press 7, then you can see small bounciness will happening. If I press 7 here, you can see here. So what I will do now, I will just select this light and will press 5 again, and will go to the attribute editor. So in attribute editor, you have all the features here, so it's very hectic to just scroll it down and all. So I will just go to copy tab. So I prefer this one. This would be very good because it will just make a duplicate copy of this and will just put it over here, so you can have a particular look. So that would be much more convenient for me, so you can work in the same. So here we have the intensity. Intensity is very important. If I press 7, as you can see, intensity is very low. Okay, so now what I will do, I will increase the intensity. So as you can see, I'm increasing the intensity, but I think if I press IT, what happens now, it's lighting proper well. Okay, so and one more thing, I am doing the night light. So we require two types of lighting, which is the warmer and the cooler lighting. The warmer lighting will be cast inside this scene, and the cooler light, which is the blue light, which is cast from outside world. Because I am working now in the night light system, and already we have discussed about the daylight using the physical sun and skies. So right now I'm working in the night light. Okay, so as you can see, here we have the features panel. Make sure that your cast shadow will be on. If cast shadow will not be on, it will not produce any kind of shadow. Okay, so okay, each and everything is fine. Okay, no problem. And yes, the color value is very important. Okay, so I will put some amount of sky blue, like, okay, little bit of sky bluish light. And now what happens next, if I just go to this particular section, and already we have decreased the value, you can say the render settings, because we have decreased all the values, and also we are using very you can say very compressed version, which is 640 480. Okay, no problem. Now I will just select any of them, because if you are selecting here, you have the interactive, you can say interactive render view. So if I go to here, as you can see here, if you press this button, you have only one time render. That means if you are changing this model, you have to render it again like this. Okay, that's the main thing. So if you are working here, that means one time render, so you have this render. So if you are working here, you have some features of panels like this one, gamma and exposure, which is also been here, but you have all the things like this particular display panel and the pixel panel, so you can work for the same, okay, like this way. So I will just will not change, will cut this because we have to work again, and it will just, I think one would be fine. Okay, now what happens next? We have created this light which is casting from the window. Basically the light will fall from the window also, so we don't have any kind of you can say glass and all, so I just put it this light. You can make glass and have transparent texture in it, or you can usually use any of the shader and use the transparent value, okay, and followed by the reflection. So right now I have this whole area which is blanked. So if I select the camera, it will not select because definitely the camera is in another layer and including the interior which is locked. Okay, so I will just cut this thing for a while and will off this because I need more space. So what I will do, I will just make another light which is the area light. As we have told you that we will generally work in area light in this tutorial because it's very important to understand the property features of area light and how you can manage all the things. So okay, to have a clear view, I will go to press 4 perspective, and in perspective, and we are in wireframe. Okay, so as you can see, I will just drag this light like this basically. Okay, and also we'll go to the, you can say the scale button by pressing R, and we'll just increase the size little bit. Okay, we'll rotate this little bit. Okay, now you have to face this at the ground level. That means this particular arrow is facing at the ground. So if I press 7, you can see it's collapsing to the wall, so we don't have to collapse this to the wall because okay, this part would be fine because we have to focus in this part only, and I will just drag this. As you can see, it's getting fade off. If you are dragging this, it will crease that particular part because the arrow pointing at the top, so I will just drag this down little bit. Okay, and what I will do, I will just create this light little bit of yellowish in color because we have already created this particular light in bluish color. So I'll go to color and just create some amount of yellowish in color, and also we'll just put little bit of yellowish. Okay, and also the intensity, which is very important. So intensity I will just, okay, I think 30 would be fine, so we'll click 30, and also it will change the color little bit lighter because it's very yellowish. And okay, fine. So you don't have to worry for this particular region because we will focus in this part which will not be visible. As you can see, which part, basically if you are working in night light, the common light which is the outsourced light will be blue. Okay, but the opposite light will be form little bit of warmer. That's the main phenomena between the night light, so that's very important. Okay, if you have daylight, if the outer light is orangish, then definitely the opposite light will form which is in bluish in nature. Okay, so right now I'm going to this particular view and we'll set this camera to perspective. Okay, fine, because we don't have to disturb the camera view. As you have disturbed, all the things will be gone, so that's very crucial thing, that you will not disturb your camera view. Okay, make sure that you're saving your file, which is very important. Okay, so right now I have used this light, and we'll just do one more thing. Instead of duplicating a particular light, you can duplicate, well, Control D, but I prefer to make another because we have to manage it according to our need, and also we have to change the color. Okay, so right now I will make another light. As you see, in this light is a little bit of lighter in nature, which is lighter yellow, and now I am making same light here. So instead of going to this particular, I will press 4 to have a wireframe. So what happens now, if I just press E, will rotate the same, and also will face here only. So instead of using one light at a time, you should go for having 3 or 4 light. That means each and every light had its own intensity, and each and every light have its own different intensity. Also you have some panels, you can adjust it. So instead of having 1 point lighting, you should go for 3, 4 or 6 point lighting. That would be fine, because as light gets attracted to your environment, all the things will be visible to its form. And if you are working in the night light, and if the environment has some short of light, definitely all the things will be casted. So that means few lights which have high intensity, few lights which have low intensity, few have which has much more lower intensity. That's the main phenomena between the interior lighting, especially in the interior lighting. Yeah, you can also work in the exterior like the same way. So I'm just putting the light over here, and finally we have just put it the lighter color here, and we'll put the darker yellow color here. So what will go to attribute editor, and here you have the Arnold light attribute. So exactly what we have to do, just click the color, and the intensity would be little bit lower as compared to this one, because as this is a soft light, you can say, because the color is little bit whitish, and this is a hard light, and also the property of the light is same because we are using the area light, but it only depends on the intensity. If you have higher intensity, light will cast more. If you have lower intensity, light will cast less. So because that's the color is darker than this one, I will decrease the intensity. I think we'll go to 7 and just have a view. Let's see what happens if I press 7. So you can see now my scene is getting heavier. So I think 20, no, not 20, 26 would be fine, because we have to see the render view also. So now it's casting upward, and this casting in the downward region, will just move it here like this way. Okay, so let's have a test render. So that's very important to have a test render. Okay, so we'll go to panel, perspective, render camera. Oh, one more thing we have to do. We have just light which is for just front of the camera, so I will just move it here and put it somehow here. No problem if you just keep on the camera, no problem. Make sure that your visibility, the light shape visibility would be off, which is very important. As you go down, you will find that the light visibility will be off, so that's very important. And use color temperature, it will directly go to the Kelvin. So if you have higher value, it will go to blue. If you have lower value, it will go to red. So I will discuss this later words, and we'll off this, and we'll go to this view. Let's have a look what's happening. So I'm just clicking over here. So as you can see, that we have used the 80 intensity level, and also we have just have 30 and 26. Then also we have some darker. So I'm not using the exposure value right now, because we have at least to set the light. As you can see, small grains are forming because we have used the lower value of camera AA. If you increase the value, definitely it will smooth, and by following this camera AA, you have to increase diffuse specular transmission, and this too, which is subsurface and volume indirect also. So we'll off this for a while, and as you can see, we have just built some amount of lights in our interior, and always work in this particular view. You can see and have examine in this camera view, because if the camera will be displaced, and if you are working in the multipass rendering thing, that will be very hectic, because each and everything will be displaced from its position. That's very difficult to manage. So what is multipass rendering? We will discuss in this multipass topic. We have separate topic for that particular one. Okay, so I think we should, let's meet to the next session. So in next session, I will add some more lights, and we'll just have proper render, and we'll test the render again. Okay, so let's meet to the next session.